Find us on Facebook, email us at head2headpinball@gmail.com, or go to our website at head2headpinball.com.
Welcome everybody to another episode of the Head2Head Pinball Podcast. This is episode 37 and my name's Martin, and with me...
It's Ryan C.
How are you, Ryan?
Absolutely fucking amazing.
It's probably because we've just had 4 days off in a row, but, you know, that might not be that much of a difference for some.
I work for myself, so it doesn't make a fucking difference at all.
4 days in a row is just phenomenal, so it's been great.
Yeah, Easter break.
Yeah.
Are you ready for this big show? We got a lot of stuff to get through. We got news on Spooky Pinball, Iron Maiden, Guardians of the Galaxy, Death by Pinball, hydrofoils, more Iron Maiden stuff. How many people will we get on the show, Marty? Will we be breaking the record of
record? We went out for the record of interviews in one show, so let's see how it goes. So where shall we start?
Well, I want to talk about this trash talker stuff. So during Pinburg, we've been getting all this mail-in about the Trash Talker Invitational Podcasters Bloodbath. What is it, Marty?
So it's a special tournament that happens at Pinburg for podcasters. And there was actually a post that's come to us and it says, so what is the format? It says there'll be a 3-player team tournament. Each team will consist of the podcast host, co-host, and will be allowed to bring in one ringer to assist them in crushing the competition. It says in the case of single host podcasters, they'll be allowed to bring in 2 ringers. Ringers must have been a guest on the podcast. Exemptions may be applied for the Trash Talker Invitational Selection Committee. 4-player groups, choose one game, blah, blah, blah. So...
So I'm not going to Pinburg, so it's you and 2 other people.
Correct.
So
I don't know who to invite. Like there's so many. And we've got to think about guests that we've had on the show, really, because it says that they have had to have been on our show.
Yeah. We've had a lot of good people on our show. Carl D'Angelo, Bowden, Bowen, Zach Sharpe.
Yep.
Zach Sharpe's the number one pretty much in the world, so that's a good one to start off with, right?
So I might reach out to him. Who else?
I'm going to ring someone up. Can you hold on a sec?
Sure.
Okay. All right, here with us today we have Josh Sharpe. Josh, how you going?
I'm doing all right, Ryan. How are you?
Good, mate. You've heard about the podcasters Bloodbath after Pinburg.
I did.
Yeah, we've secured your brother Zach. That's why we interviewed him last week. Definitely not because of Iron Maiden. Are you willing to join the team? So it's Sharpe, and Martin?
I couldn't be more excited about it. Zach filled me in last week, and I was like, let's get this wrapped up. Let's get it done.
Awesome, mate. Well, we do have to kind of formally make it an interview. We can't just kind of have you on the show for 1 minute. So,
sure. Yeah, ask me anything, man.
Yeah, five quick questions. How did you get into pinball? Actually, no, sorry, we're not allowed to ask that. Is Iron Maiden the best pinball machine ever?
No comment.
No comment.
I don't know.
I don't know. You definitely don't know about that machine.
I've heard all about it from Zach only through your podcast. He won't tell me anything, that little bastard.
How long before you're working at Stern, since everyone seems to be getting a gig there?
That's a great question. I'd say a good 2 weeks after Raw Thrills goes out of business.
Okay, Eugene Jarvis, the guy you work with, he once worked for Stern, so I guess he qualifies for a position there since Brian Eddie got a job. How long until that happens?
Eugene worked for Stern. Are you breaking news that I don't know about?
Data East, didn't he?
No. No.
Who did you work for? Did I fuck
He worked for Williams.
Williams. Oh, no. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. I'll edit that out. And the last question: is it true that
reporting, right?
Yeah. Last question: is it true that Kevin Kulik's biggest life achievement was beating you and Zach at a game of pinball when he was 13 years old?
According to his mother, it is. Definitely, it is.
All right. I think that qualifies for an interview. So, is anything else you want to say?
I just got to say, man, it's been a pleasure being on a podcast with someone that's just so genuinely just likable and nice to me and stuff. It's just it feels really good to have joined the show, Ryan.
Okay. In other words, fuck you, Jeff Diaz.
I'm not going to throw anybody under the bus, but I feel like we have a nice thing going here, and it's just kind of nice to have that with someone in the podcast industry. It's nice.
You're a great guy, and we appreciate all the work you've done with the
Thanks,
IFPA. And yeah, all right, mate. I'll catch you later.
Sounds good. Take care.
See ya.
Well, there you go.
And we got both Sharpes.
There's the 1-2 threat right there. You guys are going down head to head with the Sharpes. Sharpe to head. Does that work? No?
No.
It really doesn't.
It's a bad phone.
Head to Sharpe? No.
Head to Sharpe.
No.
So this is
Sharpe
this
header?
is after
No.
Sharpe header. This is right after Pinburg. So I mean, when you make it all the way into that A finals, Marty, you're going to be pretty damn tired, though.
I think by the nature of this side tournament actually existing is pretty much understanding that none of the podcasters are really going to be getting into A finals.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see, Marty. I got faith in you.
Yeah, well, for those people that are putting this on, you will get my official application soon.
Some news on Spooky Pinball. They had their podcast today, and I had a bit of a listen. What we learnt is why they didn't show the Alice Cooper Nightmare Castle on Friday, and it's because they weren't kind of ready to show it, in that they were 3 months behind because of shifting to the P-Rock system. So they kind of lost 3 months worth of progress there. So they're very confident that people will be amazed by what they've kind of previously done but couldn't get ported over, that they're going to show at MGC, whatever that is. I guess another one of the massive US...
Midwest Gaming, maybe?
Yeah, something like that. So they didn't release numbers. We got an email from Charlie, which I'm not sure if we're going to read in the mail section, but basically he said the same thing on his podcast, that they're not going to release numbers yet. I guess when people start to get their invoices and stuff, possibly there'll be a number attached to it, or maybe they'll skip the whole number thing this time. I don't know. Yeah.
Okay. Well, hopefully it means that overall production won't be delayed even further. That's the only delay that they're going to have.
Yeah. I guess the biggest take, I think, is just the fact that it was announced a year ago and then it was shown, and while the artwork and everything was spectacular, the code wasn't really as progressed as it people thought it was. So that's the reason why they ported it all over to P-Rock and they lost 3 months. So
now that it's obviously we've seen it for a couple of weeks, are you still sort of excited by it, or have you cooled a bit?
I get excited by codes, and I'll talk about that a bit more when we talk about Iron Maiden, but code is what really gets me excited. I mean, I'll give it a big tick for the art and the way it looks and the presentation, but I can't give anything ticks anymore on the hope that code is going to be this or that. I need to see it.
Yeah, okay. So are you ready for a new game show this week?
Sure. I have no idea what it involves.
No, I know you don't, but you will soon. So this new game show is called Is It Harder to Make Than a Pinball Machine? And effectively, what I want you to answer is yes or no. Whether you think what I'm about to say is easier or harder to make. That you've just worked it out, haven't you?
Yes, I have.
So,
but okay. Every time I hear about pinball machines hard to make, I always think about Gary Stern talking about the difference between Sam and Spike, and he's like, oh well, the pinball machine has how many kilometers of wire, and that's more than a car, and like, oh wow, like, but that's not really. It isn't really harder to make than a car, is it? I don't know. Well,
we're going to find out. So,
okay,
let's start with something simple. Is making a ham and cheese sandwich harder or easier than a pinball machine?
It's easier.
Okay. How about a... How about a 3-course dinner?
Still it's easier. Yep. Sure. Unless you're like Hess and Blumenthal or something, doing some weird degustation shit.
We're just talking something that you cook for your family. How about a wooden bookshelf?
You're just making these up as you go.
Yeah, of course I am.
Okay, from IKEA, sure, that's easier, way easier.
Okay, how is it harder or easier to make than a pinball? We'll talk about a motor scooter.
Probably easier. like a simple one.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. What about a hydrofoil?
What the fuck is a hydrofoil? Oh gosh!
It is a boat. It is quite a large ship that actually goes fast. So it goes so fast that it's got these sort of wings on the underneath that actually lifts it up off the water. Right. So
it seems pretty hard.
You would think that a hydrofoil is much harder to make than a pinball. So if you can't make a pinball...
What's the relevance here? What's the relevance here? Where are you going with this, Marty?
Well, what I'm saying is if you found it really difficult to get a pinball company up and running, how much easier do you think it is to get a hydrofoil company up and running?
Well, how about if you just bought the hydrofoil from like some Italian auction and then tried to get it?
Oh, okay, like on eBay or something.
Yeah,
or Graze Online
for $23.10.
So I'm obviously being incredibly facetious, but we did get news this week, and we actually saw that our good friend of the show, Andrew Highway, was in Australia, and Ryan and I spoke about it, and then it was announced only a couple of days ago that he has now got a new venture. What is that, Ryan?
Yeah, it's trying to resurrect the hydrofoil thing to the Sydney Harbour because they stopped, I guess, in the 90s or somewhere. I remember reading about it when all that crap was going down with Highway, and then everyone was kind of checking all the financial records and the directorship that, what other companies does Andrew Highway own? And he registered this hydrofoil kind of business, and everyone's like, is he funneling money in and out, and what's he doing? And I'm like, what the hell's a hydrofoil? So I looked it up, and it's like an Australian thing, and it was really popular in Sydney in the harbour back in, I can't remember if it was the 80s or the 90s, and then they stopped because I think they were incredibly either inefficient or dangerous, or there was just no need for it anymore. But Andrew Highway is trying to bring them back, and it's funny because me and Marty have this little segment that we always feel like we should have called "Where in the World is Andrew Highway?" But we always decide not to do it. But we still send pictures to each other of where Andrew Highway is in the world, and he's here. He's just around the corner from us.
He is
trying to resurrect.
So what he actually has done, he has bought the last remaining hydrofoil, I believe, and is bringing it back to Sydney Harbour to open back up.
Can it survive the trip? Can it survive the trip from Europe? Like he's like, I don't think he's going to get it like air freighted or put onto another ship. He's going to actually drive it all the way there.
Yeah, maybe he's going to go over there and I don't know, sail it back.
I feel like a documentary could be made out of this.
It could be. But we will link this article. There's also been talk about it on Aussie Arcade and Pinside. But there is just one particular quote I would just like to read out.
Sure.
Basically, what they're saying is that I think he spent some time growing up in Australia, in particular Manly, and it said now 30 years since he left Sydney, the British businessman who sold his successful company Highway Pinball last year is embarking on a new enterprise to bring the last remaining Sydney hydrofoil around the world on its foils back to Sydney Harbour.
There's one word there that I'm not sure of the definition. I'm just going to go to Google.
Is that the word company?
Define success.
Successful.
Okay. What does success actually mean? Oh my God, Google is very slow today. Shit.
Anyway, it's just very interesting and good on him. He's making a way forward, but that was very quick. Like from hearing that, he's now out of Highway Pinball to now doing that. He's found something to do. Good on him. Go forth, Andrew Highway.
Sure. Success is the accomplishment of an aim or purpose. So I guess success is you can define it as his success. If he wanted to build up a company and then kind of leave everyone hanging and sell off to somebody else, that's successful for him, right? Sure. Yeah. Well done. Well, compared to Kevin Kulik, I don't know what he's doing now. So
stop it.
Okay, we've got an Alien poster, the alley art that never was, because it got reverted back to the original one. So I've forgotten the guy's name, but he sold a bunch of the Alien prints. Absolutely amazing. Friend of the show, Lucas, donated one to us ages ago, and it's been sitting underneath my ACDC, and I've been waiting for some Alien news to run a comp. This is good enough. We're clutching at straws here, but this is good enough. So, for the competition to win this amazing Alien art, and if you're in Australia, we'll ship it. If you're in the US, Marty, you'll bring it over for. It's going to get chucked in your suitcase because it's probably going to cost like $60-$70 to ship or something.
Yep.
For Pinburg, so you need a friend at Pinburg, and you'll know someone who's going to Pinburg
for sure.
Email us in at head2head pinball@gmail.com, and since this is such a pivot, right? Like from pinballs to hydrofoils, I want you to give us the best or the funniest or the kind of job you think that Kevin Kulik, his new company, okay? And I don't want it to be like flipping burgers or something. I want it to be his job, like his new entrepreneurial vision, okay? Andrew Highway's doing hydrofoils. What is Kevin Kulik doing?
What's the next venture for Kevin?
What's the next venture for Kevin? Where can we see him?
In 12 months' time. So like this, in 12 months' time, we're all of a sudden going to pick up a news report. This one was, I think, the Sydney Morning Herald. All of a sudden saying, so-and-so successful businessman Kevin Kulik is now, his next venture is, boom, what is it?
Yes. And don't put it on Facebook or anything. Just email us directly, and we'll read them out next week. And I guess the funniest one, I don't know how we're going to judge this. Maybe we'll choose it at random, or the one that makes us laugh the most. One of us has to not check the email, so we get a proper gauge on the laughter.
All right, done.
Okay.
So there you go.
That's
it. So okay, let's move on to obviously the big news, and it's been news for a week now. We were fortunate enough last week to get Zach Sharpe on for an interview. It was a great interview talking about Iron Maiden, but we wanted to give it a bit of a week till we actually gave our personal thoughts on Iron Maiden.
Yeah, it's crazy that it's only been a week, but I feel like it's been a long week. Like a lot of stuff has.
All I've spoken to, like so many people have messaged me wanting to know my thoughts and share their thoughts, and I honestly, I don't think that there's been a machine from Stern that's received this much of a welcome.
Yeah, everyone I think was a bit shocked that. I guess it was the way it was revealed, and maybe it's got to do with marketing. They revealed the name of it, and then a couple of days later, boom, the photos appears, and then sometimes you have to wait like 2 or 3 weeks for like a dead flip stream or something, and it's such a painful wait because people just start eating each other on the forums because
no.
You know what I mean? Like people start complaining about the dumbest shit, like how many coils they still did it, how many coils Iron Maiden has versus the Hobbit, and how many Eddie heads there are, and people just turn the conversation stupid. But when you show them actual gameplay and the rules, then the conversation shifts. So that came only a couple of hours after the pictures were shown, and me and Marty were discussing before, we really wish that they said it wasn't going to be shown, it wasn't going to be archived, because if they did, everyone would have been kind of screen capturing it or taping it. Because I wasn't paying as much attention as I would like to, because I was busy and I was in the morning, there was kids. I knew I was going to be able to watch it at night with headphones on and really soak it in. So I can't remember much of the rules or the gameplay, but I did post a little video that I found on Instagram, and that kind of and that was like 5 days after the footage. And I was like, holy shit, like I'd forgotten already how good the game looked until I watched that one bit of footage again. Well, then what are your thoughts, mate?
Well, let's start. Okay, so the first thing, obviously, that we saw was the art package, right? So the side art, the playfield art. 10 out of 10 for me. I've not really been able to find a flaw. Probably the main thing I first thought of, and I've sort of mentioned this before, is that it has got more of that power slave theme, the whole Egyptian theme. A lot of the playfield does have the Egyptian thing. Right at the back, you can see the Sphinx that's got the Sphincter that's got Eddie's face on it.
Freudian slip.
And so that's the first thing I was drawn into. I went, okay, I can see the Egyptian theme. But then the more I look at the playfield, I just see how well the palette of colours is very bold. It's very saturated colours, which is great. It just works. I mean, it's going from that sandy Egyptian colour to a dark blue, to a purple, to a red, to a light blue. It just looks amazing. I think this is one of the overall best art packages I've seen on a pinball machine.
Yeah. I've said it a million times that I don't care too much about the art. It's never make or break, and my favorite pinball machines are the ones that have usually the worst art. But yeah, this looks great. It's very busy. Some people don't like busy things. I think I mentioned my kid kind of scared shitless of this when she saw it because there's so many Eddie heads. They're like everywhere, and it's an ugly head, right? Like it's not meant to be.
Yeah.
It's meant to be, yeah. But it is ugly. It's such a weird thing. I mean, you've probably been looking at Iron Maiden stuff like, for 30 years.
Sure.
If you abstract yourself from that and you kind of look at it from a person that's doesn't know what Iron Maiden is, I mean, it's not something nice to look at, right? It's like a zombie. It's like a weird. What is he meant to be? Like a weird skeleton.
I think he's
creature,
kind of like a mummy type thing. Maybe, I don't know. He is the undead, perhaps. Who knows? Someone write in and tell us who Eddie is.
We could probably just Google it, but my point is it's ugly, but it's meant to be ugly.
Yeah,
right?
Of course. It's meant to be like a frightening creature. It's a monster, right?
Yeah.
So it's meant to be like that. So the thing that I've always known about Iron Maiden album art, and like I've said before, I owned a lot of Iron Maiden albums, right? And back then, whilst you had your record, Ryan, we had record players back in my day. I don't know if you know what that is.
I know. Yes,
Yeah,
I know.
sure.
My dad owned a jukebox company, right? Like,
Right, okay.
he also had jukeboxes with records.
Okay, so what would happen is you would put the record on the record player and play it. Whilst you're listening to it, you're just staring at the album art. I don't know if anybody else did that, but that's what I did with albums. I would reread the most minute information about who produced it, who did the art, where the studio was, who played guitar, I would just look at it. But the best thing about Iron Maiden was because the art was so detailed, you could stare at this for a long time and see new things the closer you looked in, right? So, and I know a lot of people did the same thing with Iron Maiden art. Their art was just so iconic and really, really intricately detailed. So then bringing that to the pinball, and I've sort of mentioned it, and later on with one of our interviews, someone will mention it as well. I was really worried that it would have adopted the new Legacy of the Beast art from the iOS game, which is more of a cel-shaded comic style, but quite flat and not necessarily really detailed. Nice thick line art, but not necessarily very, very detailed. So I was a bit worried about it. So when I first saw the art and saw the playfield, I went, "Thank you, you have done it justice."
Yeah, it does look good. I mean, that whole devil bit is awesome. That it kind of carries on throughout the orbit. So even though that right ramp is in the way, it doesn't kind of chop off the art in any way because the trident or whatever he has continues on into the right orbit. So yeah, A+ for art. I think you can't get too much better than that, I think, if you're an Iron Maiden fan.
Absolutely. And so the second thing that we obviously noticed is, big surprise, it's the Archer layout.
Yeah.
Well,
it does look different. It does look different, though. I mean, there's different inserts, and apparently the Archer pinball machine was bigger than usual. They made a custom cabinet or something.
Right,
so
yeah. So he had to adjust.
I didn't know that.
No.
Yeah.
I found that out when I was listening to him on the Coast to Coast Pinball podcast.
Yeah, and he said that George Gomez said, the shots will become easier, and apparently that's true. So, I mean, that was what I kind of mentioned, that shot through the pops looked hard, and just because Keith was kind of making it during his Archer videos doesn't mean that the mortal would be able to do it, but during the stream, a lot of people made that ramp, no issues.
And consistently.
Yeah.
So that's good. So what do we know? We've seen it. Everyone's seen it. 4 flippers. First pro to have 4 flippers.
Yep. There's a whole bunch of diverters at the back that you can't kind of see because everything is kind of closed off. But, when you make certain loops, it can kind of stop the ball and divert it to that inner loop, to that little mini flipper for the super jackpot or, for other shots. So there's a lot of hidden stuff that you can't see just during the top-down picture.
Now, I'm going to say something that Keith will probably hate me saying it, but... And it's a really obvious thing. Like, people like to compare these things to other machines. I think in a way it just people like to know familiarity or comfort, right? I think that's probably what it is, right? They just want to feel comfort. So the middle ramp that goes up and hits the target at the back, and I think you may have said it as well, reminds you of Demo Man, right? Demolition Man.
Well, the bit that reminded me of Demolition Man was when I saw it in the stream, and sometimes it goes left, sometimes it goes right. I'm pretty sure that happened.
Sure.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but that pretty much that's Demo Man. Is it going to go left? Is it going to go right? Depends on where you hit the ball.
Yeah. So a lot of people have been calling that out, and I think Keith or somebody else rightly said, well, it's only got that center amp, really. That's the only thing you can't say.
Wait, there's one more thing. That's Demo Man. The Huxley bonus is, shatting the left lane to do something. That's kind of like Demo Man, but not really. Yeah,
look, there is something about it. But if you think about Demo Man, the only thing that was not great about Demo Man was the fact that it was a wide body, because a left quarter of the machine was unusable, so it was pretty much a narrow body anyway. So if there's the spirit of that is in this game, then I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But it's certainly different enough. And
well, a lot of people have drawn comparisons to Twilight Zone because of the flipper placements, the 4 flipper placements, and the shots.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, that's a wide body, and it has the power play field and stop start here and there.
Yep.
As I said, it looks unique enough that I don't think it shoots like anything.
Yeah,
right.
Absolutely agree. And I guess the reason I'm bringing that point up is, even though it's probably going to be really annoying that it may get compared to other machines, it really is because people like to feel comfortable about pinball machine. Like, they need to resolve it in their minds, and the best way to do that is to compare it to something else, so you can go, yep, it's like that, I get it, move on.
We had a whole show on it. We had a whole show arguing about Guardians of the Galaxy and
right.
Things, either Metallica or Iron Man, or anyway.
Yeah.
Rules.
So rules, right? Now,
rules.
I know you just get so... Anyway, I was going to say it, but then we'll have to edit it out. So I don't really get too much in details on rules, as was very evident when I was watching the Pirates of the Caribbean video, where it was just like, come on guys, that's just too much. And I don't remember too much about the rules, and I did watch all of the explanation, but what I really got from him explaining the rules is that this is a very situational game, meaning a lot of things are on offer at the one time, and
all the time, all the time,
and
every shot matters every single time you take it.
Yep. So the game that probably reminded me, here we go again, getting comfort in comparison, which I love for it, is Metallica, where Metallica has all these different things, and you can choose what you want to do. And you may be, let's say with Metallica, you might be going for Sparky, but you all of a sudden hit 2, maybe 3 of the inline drops for the grave, and you think, ooh, I can get grave multi-ball, I'm going to do that. I love the fact that it does change. Or you might be getting snake a couple of times, and you think, well, it's only 2 more hits to the snake, I might get snake multi-ball. You can choose what you want to do.
Yeah, I think there's 2 parts to this game. There's the modes, right? So you want to work towards your modes, and then when you're in the modes, you can kind of, you can really max them out depending on how you want to play them. But the other part is the power. I think it's called power shots. like power targets, power spinners, power ramps. And if you listen to Coast to Coast, he kind of explain how that happens. So every shot that you make on a ramp, for example, works towards that. If you hit 8 ramps, you're now in power ramps, and you can just kind of pretty much just hit them back and forth, and then that builds up towards a jackpot. And if you look at the playfield now, the pop bumper that's closest to the flipper has a target underneath it, and it's called a power jackpot, and you can cash that in whenever you want. If you manage to finish power ramps, for example, the multiplier for the whole power thing gets doubled. Kind of like a SIM card collect on dialed in. So then your power spinners, if you get into it, are worth double. So it's a risk reward of when you want to kind of cash that in. If you drain, your multiplier is gone. If you watch that quick 1-minute video that we put on Facebook, basically, his score jumps up 90 million at one point. If you pause the video, because that's the only footage we have had, so I've watched that about 10 times. If you pause the video, he kind of accidentally hits that power jackpot and he gets like 89 million or something during multi-ball. So it is a risk reward, but it's because the target is kind of out there in the open. You will accidentally hit that every once in a while. And I think like Walking Dead, when you have a kind of a crazy stack going on, there's going to be so much stuff happening that you're going to look up and your score is just going to be some crazy amount, and you're going to think, how the hell did I do that?
Okay.
And
do you know what? That's a really good point you make, because even though he was going through every bit of detail, I wasn't thinking to myself, oh God, that's so complicated, I'm never going to be able to do it. What I thought to myself was, I'm going to accidentally do a lot of that stuff just by the nature of the fact that there is so many shots that you can do. I like that.
Yeah. No, I'm excited by it because it really seems like there's a lot of ways to play. And how many times have I said that I always use the word hardcore. Like, I want dialed in to be a bit more hardcore. And what I probably should be saying is, this is what Keith called it, high energy, right?
Yep.
I like high energy pinball machines that really get you excited, because even though I don't give a shit about, I really don't care about Metallica, I don't care about Iron Maiden, AC/DC, when I'm playing those pinball machines, I get excited. And this is what Stern does the best, right? Like, when I first got into pinball and I played these Stern machines, the first thing I said is, like, they're soulless. They don't have like this really cool 90s vibe that the Williams games have. Williams did like campy, fun games the best, and it can never be repeated. People are trying, but they can't capture what was going on there in the 90s. What Stern does well, their bread and butter, is this. It's high energy pinball machines that no one else can kind of replicate. And I'm excited. I'm excited to play it because I want to feel that crazy buzz that you can't get, playing other games like Walking Dead and Metallica when you have this, or AC/DC when you have a crazy song jackpot.
I absolutely agree. As soon as they started playing it, I felt the excitement of them playing it and how it looks. And I said this to someone the other day. I know it's really hard to judge a pinball machine by not playing it, right? You really should go and play a machine. But we're in the situation where LEs, they sold out. All 500 of them sold out on the day. So we have no choice but to play them beforehand. So what I wanted to say was this. Having watched a lot of videos, and I mean a lot of pinball videos, I can gauge somewhat whether a game shoots well just by watching it, and whether I'm going to feel that it's going to... And that's based on me watching videos thinking, yeah, maybe I'm not, and then playing in them in real life and having it confirmed. This just looks like it is going to play so well.
Yeah, I don't know. Can you really do that? I mean,
I can, and I have.
For Alien, for Alien, like half the people that play it, they can't hit their shots and it's clunky as hell, and then the other half play it fine. So, what is it? Is it a clunky game or not?
Yeah.
Houdini. Half the people will brick their shots. Is it the shot's too tight, or will you be fine playing it? You don't know until you play it. Well,
and again, so it depends on who I'm watching that's playing the game, whether I feel I've got a similar level of skill to that person. That's going to determine.
So are you saying that you have the same level as Keith Elwood and Zach Sharpe?
No, but I can tell you there was a few people there playing that I do. I'm not going to mention names. Yeah, some of them weren't good.
Some of them are new to pinball. Sure. What else we got? Art, rules, layout, theme integration. Theme integration is a funny one because Keith kind of admitted that it was Archer, but he didn't tie Archer to some kind of like crazy mech that is specific to Archer, so he kind of left it a bit generic, which lends itself well. I mean, when you think about this, I mean, everyone's like going ape shit over the art and the way it shoots. And it is the Pro. There really isn't, and there's diverters that you can't see, but there isn't one crazy mechanical feature. Like I'm not saying the Groot head is crazy mechanical, but it's obvious. It's there. You load balls into its mouth and it spits it out. I guess shut up. I guess the bullseye target or something like what is the one thing on this? But what I'm saying for myself is that it doesn't matter, and people have proven that it doesn't matter as long as there's good art, good theme, high energy, and everything seems to work well. I don't know.
And if you remember what I'd said, if it wasn't last episode, the one before, where I'd said, when I was looking at the Archer video, I was thinking, you know what? It just sort of looks very open. You put this art over the top of that, it doesn't look open anymore.
That's the thing. This is what I've been kind of thinking about a little bit is like Star Wars, for example. Like people bag that so much for being bare and all this kind of stuff. If that had like some insane art on it and maybe like one more shot with the upper flipper or something, did all these people shut up, or is it because I don't know, the expectations of that game was too high?
No, I'll say yeah. Well, you can tell I'm flip-flopping here, but expectations on the game were very high. I'll admit that, but it didn't come close. It didn't come close to if expectations were mediocre. It just was very plain, simplistic art. Had it been a little bit more detailed and a bit more busy, it sort of would have just... the machine would have felt a little bit more packed.
Okay. Can I tell you one thing? Are you looking at a picture of the playfield art now?
Yes, I am.
Okay. See how in the middle of the flippers, you start to get the inserts with the Eddie heads all the way up with the modes?
Yes.
Yep. And then they've got the triangle there, the power triangle.
Yes. Power orbits, power ramps, power pops, power targets, and power spinners.
Yeah. It's not centered, and that, for some reason, I can't not see it. No.
Yeah, I did notice that as well. It didn't.
It can't be centered. It can't be centered because of all the stuff that's on the left, the power orb shot and the spinner. So it can't be centered. But it looks weird to me because it's not symmetrical. It's like you know what I mean? Like in the Egyptian days, everything had to be like perfect because they're building these massive structures and stuff. And that's like the pyramids on top of a column, but the column is off-centered, so the pyramid would just fall off. Just ignore me. It's just a weird ACDC thing. Yeah. Anyway.
No,
moving on.
I had noticed that, but didn't really bother me that much because it kind of is... centered down the bottom for the modes, but then as you get sort of halfway up the playfield, the center really becomes the bullseye.
Okay.
So, yeah, it kind of works for me.
Should we start calling some people up and asking them if they got an Iron Maiden?
Well, okay, so do you need to ask me that question?
Hey, Marty, did you get an Iron Maiden?
I do not know.
Still?
I still do not know. I put messages in 3 times during the week, but I mean, obviously AMD are getting out to people. I know that some people have been confirmed. I know some people have been confirmed that may have put expressions of interest after me, so I can only assume that tomorrow I'll get a call and I'll be in.
You're going to drag this on. This will be tune in next week to find out if Marty gets it.
This week did Marty get his Iron Maiden? We don't know. So what we decided to do is, because, we've talked about it during the week ourselves. We've spoken to a lot of people, but Ryan had a great idea and said, how about we speak to some people about what they think?
Let's get to it.
Let's do it. So, Dave, thanks for joining us. First question I want to know is, you are in on an Iron Maiden limited edition. Is that correct?
That's right, I am.
And so why this machine? What do you love about it?
Purely because of the layout. Purely because I can't help myself when a new machine comes out. You have to sort of go for it, I guess. thirdly, I just sold my Star Wars and actually had some cash, basically. I think if I didn't sell the Star Wars, I probably wouldn't.
Did you sell your Star Wars because you knew Iron Maiden was coming, or were you just selling that to free up some cash?
I actually sold it because I was actually doing a bit of a cash drive. So, thanks, Iron Maiden. Thanks, Stern.
And, are you a big fan of Iron Maiden?
No, I'm actually not. I've got mates that are, but I'm a metalhead, but I've never been I always thought it was a bit of a cock rock sort of band, the spandex type of stuff. Lead breaks are okay, but I've had to actually jump on YouTube and actually...
You've got Metallica, LE, you've got Kiss. I don't think you've never had an AC/DC, have you?
No, see, I was an AC/DC fan as a kid, but not much as an adult sort of thing. But Kiss, Metallica, always been a fan, and Kiss, I was a massive fan as a kid. So even though Kiss, often I look at it and their code and think, oh my God, screw you, Kiss, you need to go. I probably will never get rid of it purely just because the original Kiss was the first pinball I played as a kid and all that sort of stuff.
Is there a dream kind of like heavy metal theme that they haven't done yet that you'd be on the list for if they did?
Heavy metal? Probably not. I mean, anything I'd want would be like sort of more modern heavy metal bands like Mastodon and stuff like that, which is never going to happen. I mean, probably Sabbath. Black Sabbath would probably be the ultimate one, considering they like going for all the old white, rockers. Sabbath pin would be freaking awesome. But, in the same deal, 5 Sterns, I sort of tend to keep like the 5. So they have Metallica, Kiss, and Iron Maiden with Walking Dead and Game of Thrones. So it'd be like, 3 metal bands and 2 TV shows.
So if you're not a massive Iron Maiden fan, how long ago did you put your name down as an expression of interest for the machine?
Would you believe it was about 2 days after I actually sold Star Wars? So, right when I'm just trying to do a bit of a cash build up. But, I just emailed Bruce and lucky enough had some money there because of Star Wars.
But you actually put it down before actually seeing any pictures of the machine.
Yep, yeah, which I guess probably a lot of people have done. So of course, then I think I'd obviously have seen the Archer layout, but of course you never know what's happening. It could have all just been smoke and mirrors or whatever. But of course, then when I saw the actual the dead flip stream, I'm like, okay, now I feel better about it all because that looks pretty darn good.
Dave, your dream theme is Evil Dead.
Yes.
If that machine ever gets made, what do you want to see in that game?
Look, I think it'd be all the classic stuff, really. I mean, I think if they ever do it, they'll probably do it based on a new TV show more than probably the old movies, because I think even Raimi doesn't have these rights to number 3, Army of Darkness or something, I think. I don't know, it'd be the classic, obviously the house, obviously there'd have to be Bruce Campbell voiceover. I don't think a sound alike would do it. But I don't know. I guess it's just got to, it's got to be theme. Everything else on the machine, unless it's absolutely designed horribly, as long as they capture the theme, as long as it's massively gory, funny, animation's all good or whatever. I mean, I would prefer, classic, proper full motion video sort of, now that they've got the big screens or whatever. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know who I want to make it.
Cool. As long as it gets made.
As long as it gets made. Well, as long as it's freaking awesome, I guess. And it's not a super LE for $20,000 or something.
So are there any other machines that are on the horizon that you're interested in?
Not really. I was just saying to Eddie Deadrock then that it's like, I feel like a new pin, which is sort of rare for me. Because I've sort of, a bit like Riser, just went crazy and went through so many. There's not many sort of stuff that, second-hand stuff that's out there that they haven't had or do want. So that's why, Aerosmith, didn't interest me purely because I hate the band. As you may know, Riser.
Yes.
I don't think anything would I just have to turn it down. I couldn't deal with it. I'd just think of Steve Tyler's freaking lips the whole time I was playing.
Sure,
I already played bad enough at that, so.
One last question from me then. Is it true that we have you to blame for getting Ryan into pinball?
Well, maybe his dad, but yeah, probably me. Yeah.
Yeah, it was good.
Well, would you believe I was saying to Eddie before, I'm like, I really miss my Indiana Jones. I'm like, I can't believe I sold that to Riser, and that's when it all started. That's, super duper famous journalist you both are now.
Well, maybe Ryan.
All right,
Yeah, you do have me to blame. That's all right.
All right, Dave. It was great
Cool.
chatting to you. Good luck getting your Iron Maiden. Cool.
Thanks for calling.
Enjoy.
Bye,
Okay.
guys.
So now we've got someone that we have mentioned probably nearly every week on our podcast. Great friend of the show, Lucas Barden. So Lucas, are you in on an Iron Maiden?
Yes, I believe I am. I didn't think I was, but yeah, I am.
What does it look like? You've seen it, obviously. You've seen the LER package.
Yeah, of course, just the same as everyone else has.
What do you think of it?
Well, I haven't seen it. I'm just hoping it's shining and foil-like and impressive.
No, but you're a big Iron Maiden fan already. So did it meet expectations of what you would hope it would look like, just based on sort of pictures and video alone?
Yeah, definitely. I was a bit worried, like you mentioned, that it was going to have graphics somewhat like the app on the phone, the Legacy of the Beast app, but was pleasantly surprised when I saw it. So, yeah.
Lucas, you're in on a Alice Cooper Nightmare Castle as well, is that right?
Yes, I am.
Okay, what else have you pre-ordered besides, okay, you've got Iron Maiden, you've got Alice Cooper. Is there anything else?
You're setting me up. Yeah, I pre-ordered a Big Lebowski.
How's that going for you?
Yeah, good. I've got mine. Yeah.
Do you have any envelopes needing folding?
Yeah. I need an envelope folded to write the letter from my solicitor asking where my product.
But you're big on music pins. What other music-based pinball machines do you own?
I've got the AC/DC Premium, the Metallica LE, and the Kiss LE. Yeah,
Did you ever buy an Aerosmith, or is that just too out there for you?
No, I was never big into Aerosmith. All the other bands. Yeah, well, the story, I actually bought the Metallica first, and I'd only played the AC/DC Pro, and I wouldn't go near it. And then I rang the guys from AMD, ordered my Metallica, and then I think a week later I played the AC/DC Premium and rang them up and said, hey, can you get me a Premium as well?
I'm a new Iron Maiden fan, like only 1 month old. So looking at the track listing, I mean, they all seem to be the hits. I mean, the random songs that Spotify played for me are the ones on the album, except for maybe Flight of the Icarus, Rime of the Ancient Mariner. Are you fans of every single song that they've put on there, or is there one that kind of sticks out that you it's been drained and you don't like it?
No, I like all those tunes. The one I probably don't like the most is Wasted. I think Wasted Years is on it.
That's the second person that said they don't like Wasted Years. Why is that?
It's not a good song. No, look, I actually, as far as Maiden went, when I started listening to music, I think you actually mentioned Alice Cooper was sort of the person or the band that got me into heavy music. And when I started listening to Maiden, initially I didn't like it. I really didn't like that sort of high-range vocal. And then later on down the track, I listened to more, and I was more appreciating sort of the melody and music and the speed. And Wasted Years just doesn't have either. So for the vocals, it doesn't have awesome melodies and it doesn't have speed. So,
yeah. Now, so you were going to go in on this sight unseen like I was, and in fact, we
yes.
sort of put our expression of interest at the same time.
Yeah.
I mean, we're both glad that it sort of lived up to it, but what would have been a deal breaker for you if it wasn't in the machine?
Star Wars style art.
Probably.
Or a Star Wars layout. You know, it was. I think when I saw it, like everyone said, I mean, we all kind of knew what it was going to be, but the layout looked a bit different. You know, they've done something that's completely different from any machine they've done for a long time by having 4 flippers on it. But I think if it was just one of those cookie cutter games, if it didn't come out with all those impressive visuals that were on the video screen and everything like that, it might have I might have gone and pulled a riser and dumped on my pre.
Anything else you want to add, Lucas?
No. Look, I'm keen to see the Premium and the LE artwork. Like, even I think I read that they had The premium package is Power Slave, which has the potential to be amazing artwork. And
just on that, is Power Slave the Egyptian themed stuff?
Yes.
So isn't that what's kind of on the playfield anyway? So all those
about I'd say about half of the playfield really has that Egyptian theme, but it still incorporates all the other albums.
Okay, so are we talking about the premium art, like the side art and stuff, instead of the Trooper? Yeah, so I guess the Pro is the Trooper stuff, and is that right? And then premium would be
the premium. Yeah, premium is Power Slave, and then it says Battlefield for the LE. So I'm not entirely sure what they're talking about there, because to me, Trooper would have been Battlefield, but could be something like Aces High or something, I don't know, Number of the Beast. But.
All right, Lucas, thanks for joining us for a little chat, and we hope that you get your LE sooner than the Big Lebowski anyway. And
that's almost certain.
Almost certain.
I think I'll get. I think they said that Alice Cooper could be 6 to 18 months, depending on how long it takes them to get up and running. I think I'll get that before Big Lebowski. So
yeah.
All
right. Well, 3 unboxing parties coming at your house pretty soon.
Yeah, well, 2 soon and 1 maybe.
All right, mate. Thanks for chatting.
Thanks, mate.
All right, guys.
All the way from South Australia, we got Mr. Con Extendo. How are you, mate?
Yeah, how are you, boys? I'm doing pretty good. How are yourselves?
Really good.
Good, mate. So the reason why we're calling you, I guess, the same reason we're calling everyone else, you have an Iron Maiden LE on order, confirmed. Is that correct?
That is 100% correct from young Brucey baby from AMD Pinball Machines. Yes, correct.
I thought you said you got it from Joe from Kids Want to Have Fun.
Awkward. Hi, Joe. If you're listening, I do apologise. I went through Brucey baby this time. No, didn't even get one through Kids Want to Have Fun. I got one through AMD.
Okay, excellent, so I'm confusing with someone else.
Yeah.
So, how many other music pins do you have in your collection, Gun?
I've got a AC/DC, a Back in Black music collection pinball machine. I recently sold a Metallica, and I thought I've got too many music pinball machines, and I sort of regret it a little bit with a machine of a music pinball machine. So I thought, what's the perfect opportunity for a Iron Maiden to come out, just to really rock it out. So yeah,
how long have you been an Iron Maiden fan for, Con?
A fan. Oh, look, I'm a electronica head, so techno head per se. It's my foremost sort of genre of music, but I do enjoy my heavy metal. So being a young guy that I am, so I tend to I don't know, for the last 20 odd years, I remember my brother's a heavy metal freak. He plays guitar, so I've always been around heavy metal. So probably about 20 odd years, I reckon, boys.
And so has this been a pretty much I wouldn't say necessarily dream theme if you're not necessarily a massive fan, but do you appreciate that this makes a great theme for a pinball machine? Or what we've sort of really seen is it's been pretty polarizing. People either love it and think that it's a fantastic theme, people just don't get it at all.
Yeah. Look, I love my... For me, a pinball machine should attract you without being switched on, yeah? So artistically, it needs to be very well presented. So I've got a Batman machine, very vibrant, very bright, and I find that this to be a very similar type of machine. And it's a heavy metal machine, so in the sense of that particular genre, closer to the Metallica sort of side. So looking at the machine, it's appealed to me, the interactiveness that Stern have released with the color DMD. Very, very interactive. A heavy metal pinball machine as well at the same time. So it's very colourful and bright. So they're the main things that has attracted me. Look, other than that,
you are aware, Con, that you haven't actually seen what you've ordered. You've only seen the Pro. So the alley could have horrible art. It could be all black, like a Supreme cabinet, but just instead of white, black.
Well, I'd like to take control of this conversation there, boys, and I'm going to ask you this question. So since you guys have probably seen the Iron Maiden LE, what does it look like? Go on, come on.
No, we honestly haven't seen it.
We have actually seen it.
Yeah, no, true. And you could sometimes read in between our words to know whether we're sort of joking or not. But we honestly haven't seen it either.
Haven't you?
No, not at all. So you know, being able to sort of get in on this machine before, did you actually put an order in before you saw the pictures or the video?
I did, yes. There's been, look, Yes, I did, to that question. Yeah, I emailed Brucey Baby about 3 months ago, and I heard that the Iron Maiden pinball machine was out, and I ordered through him 2 of them, one for myself and one for my mate. And I don't really buy a machine without sort of not seeing it. My other machine that I've done was the Batman 66, and I consider myself quite lucky to have an LE in my collection. And I felt that in my gut feeling that this particular machine will be that machine to have of the year, being the Iron Maiden pinball machine. So I haven't seen it. I'm still very optimistic that it's going to be fantastic with the LE. The Pro looks awesome. Couple little figurine toys potentially on the LEs, you know. Couple of coffin things.
Has that ever backfired for you, or ordering a machine before you see it? Have you ever done that for, was it Ghostbusters you had?
Yeah, look, I do apologise. I did buy the Ghostbusters machine on the LE. Spur of the moment, I woke up one morning, early in the morning, and I saw on Pinside that, hey, there's a Ghostbusters machine. So I got in touch with Bruce. Look, has it ever backfired? I'm happy with my purchases. The Ghostbusters looked awesome, and I was very happy with it. I just wanted to move it on and just to get something a little bit different. So I've been very lucky in my respect. So I suppose to your question, Ryan, was have I ever opened up the box and just gone, oh my God, this is a bucket of beep? No, it's been awesome.
I don't mean open the box. I mean the conversation has changed recently about, you know, not ordering a machine before you see it and play it, but everyone kind of has seemed to forgotten about that when Iron Maiden came out because of, I guess, the footage and the theme and the limited nature. So that's kind of my question. I mean, is there a part of you that thinks that you might not like this pinball machine, or are you 100%?
100%. Look, yeah, as I said, guys, my gut feelings, as I said, I'm a little bit lucky, I suppose, but my gut feelings are going to say that this particular pinball machine from Stern Pinball is going to be the pinball to have from a new pinball perspective. Yeah, so Chicago Gaming bringing their remakes out, awesome, and I've got an Attack from Mars and looking at another one from them, but this is new. This is new from Stern.
Are you saying to be award winner? You're calling it early, are you?
I am. Here in Adelaide, okay. Everyone listening, Iron Maiden pinball machine is going to be the pinball machine to have. And for anyone that has maybe another one on to keep in the box and potentially, you know, make a few bucks in the end of the day.
No, we don't endorse flipping. Come on.
I don't either. But you know, to those bastards, they've got lots of money.
So then, can we just quickly talk about Batman 66 then? So you've obviously had that when it came out.
Yes.
Was there ever a time, because and obviously we know now the code in it is fantastic and it was a bit of a leap of faith, but was there a time in the past, I don't know how long it's been, 18 months, where you just thought, oh man, this is not looking good?
Marty, great question. So I opened up the box and I had my friend Dan Ferro from Aussie Arcade. Hi Dan, if you're listening. He was lucky enough to be here when it was dropped off. We opened it up and we were like jumping around like little kids. Yeah, and, oh my God, this is awesome. Started it up and I'm like, let's stop jumping around. And we went outside, had a beer, and I thought, how am I going to make my 14,500 Australian dollars back? That machine was parked inside my penny room for a good 8 months, and I really had probably 2-3 games a week out of it just to see if it's still working. Yeah. Now I bought new pennies in the meantime to get this buzz still going, but I did have my doubts. But I emailed Mr. Gomez and expressed my concern about the lack of code update. And I think I posted on Aussie Arcade, a little bit on Pinside, that I did get a personal email back from him, you know, reassuring that Stern Pinball will be updating the code, and he promises that, albeit it took a little bit longer than expected. But, I didn't enjoy the game when it came out. It looked great. My mates were paying me out, and I totally respect it. But now who's paying them out, and now who's lining up for a limited edition or even a premium pinball machine from Stern Pinball, because it looks fudging awesome, and I think it's The code is unbelievable. It's so fun. And a pinball machine, love or hate a pinball machine, the way it looks, it needs to be fun and interactive. And I think Stern have captured that as well. I think they've done a fantastic job. So good on them.
God, you're a Stern shill.
Shill for sure.
What's going on?
Turn it down.
Hi, Gary. I'll take your deposit cash now. Thank you for listening.
All right, mate. Well, yeah, thanks for chatting. Anything else you want to say before we let you go?
No, I just want to say hello to all the fans and everyone enjoying their pennies machines, and to the Aussie Arcade guys. Well done. Keep up the good work, and we'll see you around.
All right, mate.
Thanks, man.
Catch you later.
Thanks, boys. See you.
Joining us from New South Wales is Mark Cook. Mark, how you going?
Good. How you going?
Good, mate. You've got an Iron Maiden LA on order?
I do.
Now, you're a bit of a power buyer here in Australia. You buy a lot of new pinball machines. Is that right? Almost everything from Stern?
I buy, not everything. I haven't bought the last 2 new. So, but I buy a few of them, yeah. But I turn through them pretty quickly.
Yeah, you've only got space for, 5 or 6?
7, yeah, because
7.
one's now in the lounge room, so...
Okay, so when a new pinball machine comes in, you pretty much have to either put it at work or sell it. Is that right?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, so you've got Iron Maiden coming in. What's on the chopping block?
Well, I just sold Lord of the Rings.
Yes.
But I've got Star Wars coming today, so I think Nuclear Annihilation will be going into work and. Possibly dialed in maybe as well. So I'm actually looking to build up the collection at work again so that I can hold some comps.
Okay.
And so what was it about Iron Maiden that made you want to get this particular one?
I'm not an Iron Maiden fan at all. So it's not the music, but I like the look of the layout. It was quite unique for Stern. I think it was a little less cookie cutter than the previous few releases. And obviously the art by Zombie Yeti looked really, really good. Mind you, we haven't seen the LE art yet. So
no, that's true. But were you in on this before you saw any of the pictures or video?
When I heard it was based on Archer, or the rumour was that, I put my name down, yeah.
So how long ago would that have been?
Oh, probably 6 months ago.
Wow. Cool. So pleasantly surprised then?
Yeah, I was really, when it actually was proven to be based on Archer, I was really happy. I like the look of that layout. Looks really good.
So what's important to you, Mark? So when you're purchasing or putting your money down for a new pinball machine, because as we just mentioned, you do buy a lot of them. Is it theme? Is it high energy stuff? What is it for you that gives it the tick of approval to pre-order it?
Probably just more the layout. I mean, it's been a little bit unusual with Stern lately with the code and so on, and that's probably why the biggest reason I set out the last 2 was, first of all, the layout wasn't that interesting on Guardians nor Star Wars, but also with the Batman 66 code thing, which I've been waiting, over a year for. I didn't want to go through that again, so I did sit out on those 2. But hearing when it was actually confirmed that it was Archer based, and from Keith Elwyn, I sort of thought, well, he's probably already got the rules pretty much tied up. So it would probably be released code complete, or more or less code complete. Okay. So the combination of the layout and the rules together, made me want to go in, even though I'm not a big fan on the theme.
Yeah. But do you know many of their songs before, you...
No, like zero.
have you in that time, have you sort of done a bit of a, get up to speed pretty quickly?
No, I haven't done that either, so I'll be relying on you guys. You'll have to give me the top 10 songs. Is there something on YouTube or something I can have a look?
I've made a Spotify playlist of the songs. I'll share it with you, Mark.
Oh yeah, shoot that over for sure.
There's 2 that most people really know. First is Run to the Hills, and the other one is Number of the Beast. So start with those 2 and then branch out from there.
Yeah, look, I probably know them when I hear them, but I wouldn't, if someone played it, I probably wouldn't have known that was Iron Maiden when I heard it.
That's hilarious.
But I think
Well, are you a Metallica fan? Because you've
no,
you sold me your Metallica, and then you went and bought another Metallica, right?
That's right. Yeah. Yeah.
Because you had a bit of a, you sold Metallica.
I sort of grew to like Metallica.
Yeah.
From the game, actually.
Yeah.
But I've got Aerosmith here, which I can't really stand them. Like, I'd put them at the very bottom of my music tastes, but I love that game. Like, it's such a good game.
That's so good.
Yeah, I agree. And as I've said many times, I found that I wasn't a big fan of the group or the music, but love the layout. I actually do love the layout on that game, and I love the art on that game. And I actually grew to really like the songs, of which most of them I didn't know, but it's actually not bad.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And especially playing pinball, so it actually works. Like, they're good songs for playing pinball, and I think maybe Iron Maiden might be the same.
Yeah.
Mark, just quickly, I talked to you previously about tournaments, and you kind of expressed that you had no interest in them at all. You competed in your first tournament last month, about 3 weeks ago, and you came first. Is that right? Yep. So have you got the bug now? Are you hooked now? Because you said you wanted to bring some machines to work for tournaments.
Yeah, so I'm really hooked, but it's just hard to. Like, the next tournament, I missed one yesterday, but it was Easter Sunday. But the next one up here is in like 2 weeks, I think, is Wild Ball, which is a sort of semi-social, semi-tournament thing.
Yep.
But if they were every 2 weeks, I'd probably go along. Whereas at the moment, there's really just one a month. So that's why I was thinking maybe I've got a bit of space at work. I can organise it. So I could probably hold a decent comp with seven or 8 games there.
Yeah, don't be a dickhead like me and try and do it at home, because your wife will not be a fan of you.
I know, and that's the problem. I'd love to do it here because I've got some good games here, but they're in the sort of like a lounge room, dining room at the front of the house, which it's just a little bit too close to everything else in the house. So I'd have to wait for my wife and son to be gone, I think, to do it.
Cool. And last question before we let you go: what? Future titles. Since you're a big buyer of new pins. Toy Story or Deadpool. If you can only choose one: Toy Story, Deadpool, Munsters, Willy Wonka. Which one out of the 4?
Probably Toy Story.
Based off theme. Okay.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah,
cool.
Based on theme, and I guess based on the fact that it's going to be Jersey Jack.
Yeah.
Well, I think
not
they'll do
totally
a good job of it.
yet. You never know. It could
Willy Wonka after that.
Could be Deep Root.
It could be Deep Root. Yeah. So when will we see that?
I don't know. When the sledgehammers have been lightened to just like a feather sledgehammers, so
maybe Andrew Highway will, once he finishes his hydrofoil thing.
Oh shit! We
resurrect.
haven't talked about that yet. That's
okay.
Next.
All right.
We'll get.
You want to do it now? I can't wait. I'm queuing up to get on this hydrofoil.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you're in Sydney, so you can actually. We can phone you in again. Next time we hear from you is when you are on the Maiden
Actually, on the Maiden voyage, standing next to Andrew up the front.
Yeah. See if there's another thing that'll sync.
All right, Mark.
Anyway,
thanks for the chat.
All right,
Thanks, mate.
okay.
Catch you later.
Bye.
Thanks, guys. See you.
All right, so joining us now, we've got friend of the show, Jeff Wills. Now, Jeff, you're in on Iron Maiden Limited Edition. Is this correct?
I'm definitely in on an Iron Maiden Limited Edition. I've been down on that one for over 12 months.
12 months.
So,
I think
yeah.
you break the record
Very
so
exciting.
far for the person that's been on the list the longest.
I think there was someone from Australia that was down for 3 years. I heard, so I might be up there. But yeah.
And so are you a big Iron Maiden fan?
I was definitely a huge Maiden fan back in the heyday. As we get older, things change, but I still listen to the music. Just put a CD in the car since the release. So
A CD.
definitely.
A CD. Crazy.
What are those things?
Yeah, I'm a bit old school with that sort of stuff. I'm not up with the technology as this Skype fiasco found out. Yeah.
So what is the best song on the Iron Maiden pinball machine? Have you had a look at the list of, I think there's about 12 songs?
I think they're all great songs for pinball. Probably Number of the Beast would be my favourite. But yeah, there's quite a few on there. I think that as far as the song choice that they selected, I think they couldn't have done much better.
And so you've got some music pins as well. What are other music pins that you've got?
Aerosmith Limited Edition, a road case Metallica, and Guns N' Roses.
Jeff, so you're that guy that had the glass blow up in your hands, is that right?
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm known for now. Yeah, definitely, that was me.
And everyone kept saying that and I was there as well, and everyone kept saying, oh, you must have touched something. But, on record, did the glass touch anything, or did it just shatter in your hands?
It just shattered in my hands. It didn't touch anything. Literally exploded.
Now, you've seen pictures, and have you seen the dead flip stream of Iron Maiden?
Yes, I did watch a little bit in the morning. I had to get the kids to school, so I missed quite a bit of it. But I did get to see Keith Owen run through the rules, and I did a bit of the gameplay. So it was really exciting. I think it's great to see something different from. That was the thing. I think a lot of people, when it comes to pins that they've really wanted, this has been my sort of pin that I've always wanted. You have high expectations. I tried not to do that, and I just wanted to have, it's traditional made artwork and, something that played well. And to Keith, bring this design to Stern, I think is just amazing for this theme. So really looking forward to it.
I mean, if you could think about maybe one or two things that really stood out for you that you liked, what would it be?
Artwork, number one. Just love the artwork. I was a little bit concerned when Zombie Eddie was on the artwork, but it's just amazing. So really happy with that.
Why does, with the fact that Zombie Eddie's working on the art, be a concern? Is that because Iron Maiden art was traditionally done by someone else, or?
Yeah, I think Iron Maiden had a style, and I think if it went away from that style, which, every artist has their own style, and seeing Zombie Eddie, Ghostbusters, which is fantastic, but I don't think that style would have really suited Iron Maiden. But he's knocked it out of the park as far as the style goes. He's really kept it as traditional as I think he can. It looks fantastic. I can't wait to see what the other models are.
And the other thing that you like about it, I'm speaking to you, was that you like the layout.
The layout looks fantastic. I mean, it's just something fresh. We all know Stern's been a bit cookie cutter lately. It's always been the same sort of thing. So just a pro to have 4 flippers and the layout that it's got, I think it's just something fresh.
Fantastic. And so you're looking forward to getting your LE. We believe probably around June, I think.
Yeah, that's what I've been told. But look, nothing's been confirmed as yet. I've been on the list obviously for quite a while, but I still haven't got the call to say come down and put down your deposit.
We're calling you for no reason then, Jeff. This is for confirmed LE buyers only. You've snuck in.
Well, it's confirmed, but for me, it's not confirmed until I put my money down. But yeah,
okay,
it's close enough. It's close enough.
I've been told I'm top of the list. So. What about you guys? Either you guys down for an LE?
Well, I'm down, but I haven't had confirmation yet. So I haven't had any call that says that I've definitely secured one. So we'll wait and see. Hopefully tomorrow I'll find out.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, cool.
Cool.
All right. Thanks for chatting to us.
Thanks, Jeff.
No, thanks for that, guys. Appreciate it.
All right.
Hey,
see you, mate.
All right, Marty, probably got time for one more. I've got
just one more.
A guy called Chris here. Let me try and get in Chris. I don't know who this is. Hello, are you there, Chris?
Hello.
Hi, who's this? Are you from Aussie Arcades?
No, this is Chris Franchi.
Oh.
Who's this?
This is Ryan and Martin from Head2Head. Is this Chris Franchi, the Batman and Guardians of the Galaxy artist extraordinaire?
Ooh.
Yep.
That's a bit awkward. We're sort of ringing around asking people about Iron Maiden.
Yeah. It's like the middle of the night here, guys.
Like 5 o'clock or something, man. Hey, man, do you want to come on the show next week or something?
Yeah, I'll do that. I just got to go now. I got to get back to sleep. It's like 5 in the morning.
Sorry, dude. All right, Chris.
We'll speak to you next week.
Catch you later.
All right, we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, we've got here all the way from Queensland, Northern Australia, Ando. Ando, how you going, mate?
Hey, good guys. How you doing?
Good,
yeah, really
great.
Good,
You've got an Iron Maiden on order, confirmed?
Yep, been down for LE for many years now and getting very excited. It's looking like it's going to be a winner.
Yeah, so you've got an Iron Maiden poster as your Skype avatar. So I'm guessing you're a long-time Iron Maiden fan.
Yeah, huge fan from back in the day. I graduated high school in '84 when they released Power Slave, and yeah, one of my favourite albums, and so great to see some of the songs made it to the machine.
Yeah, I know nothing about your collection, Ando, but do you have quite a big collection? Is it mostly music pin focused, or are you an LE guy, buy all the LEs, or hey, walk us through a bit of that?
I travel pretty lean at the moment because I'm living at central Queensland at the middle of nowhere, and I've really only got space for 2 or 3 machines at the moment. There was a time when I had about 15 or 16, but had to trim it down. If I can move back to Brisbane, I'd like to get a few more on board. But yeah, I like the LE, so I've got Metallica LE. Yeah, it's an awesome game, and I think Maiden's going to sit next to it really nice.
So based on seeing the pictures, and I'm not sure whether you got to saw the Dead Flip stream, what really stands out that you like about what you've seen?
Yeah, well, I was fortunate to catch the last 15 minutes of the stream, which was great. It would have been awesome if they archived it, but I can understand the reasons why they couldn't. Just the overall package, it really looks like Keith has nailed it. I had my reservations initially. I was really concerned when they started talking about it being based on Legacy. I thought, oh no, here we go. It's not going to be that bloody arcade game. But just so excited to see that Keith has integrated the songs so well. Looking at the LCD and how he's integrated the songs and the modes, it's just going to be insane. I really, really think he's hit it.
And of the list of songs, is there anything that do you think that they've captured all the great Iron Maiden songs, or any of them that you like more than others, or even some that you don't like?
Yeah, look, every one of them's an absolute winner. I can't believe that they got Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner on there too. That's just awesome. That's just such an epic song, and going to have to get some really good ball times to get through that. It's look, every song they've got is just brilliant. Yeah, I'm just so stoked. I can't believe it. Just instant buy for the LE, and when they announced all the extras that are coming with the LE, like the glass, the blades, shaker, I couldn't believe it. Dream come true.
Was that the kicker for you, or would there have been anything that they could have done, since you're such an Iron Maiden fan, that you would say no, I'm not buying this? Like if they kind of had like Photoshop art, kind of similar to what they've done with Game of Thrones or Star Wars, would you say no, I'm not in, or are you in regardless?
It would have made the difference. Yeah, I'm not overly cashed up, so for the LE purchase for me, to have those extras, that's what got it. If it didn't have those extras, I'd probably be reserved and probably fall back to a premium, or perhaps even a Pro. The Pro looks like it delivers the goods as well. But because they did the right thing this time and included the extras that all us full-on collectors want, they've really got it. So if they keep that game running, they'll kill it. But really good talking to you guys, and as you can tell, I'm pretty passionate about it and pretty excited. Really looking forward to seeing the pictures come up with the premium and the LE, and hope they really nailed the art on that too. And listening to Keith's podcast, it just sounds like he's got the rules and the codes well on its way. So awesome times ahead for Maiden fans.
Yeah, absolutely agreed. So thanks for chatting to us, mate. Really appreciate it.
No worries. Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
See you, Andy.
So there you go, Ryan. What do you think were the main themes that really came out there?
The main things that came out is that not everyone is an Iron Maiden fan, but they still really want the pinball machine. What is up with that?
That's really interesting, isn't it? I was expecting every single person that I spoke to say, yep, absolutely, I'm a massive Iron Maiden fan. Now, I knew Lucas was and I knew Jeff was. I didn't know the other people all that well. And I was really surprised that I think there was only really one other, being Ando, that was an Iron Maiden fan.
Yeah, I guess it just proves that if you market something and show something that people want, it's people are buying dialed in, which every Williams game that's worth talking about in the 90s, they're all original themes and they're highly desired. So it's no different in this way. If you show something that people want, it doesn't matter what the theme is, people will still want to buy it and they'll throw money at you.
Well,
and I think, yeah.
Yeah, I was going to, and because you said theme, right? So one of the other things, because I kept asking the question, what is it about the machine that's drawn you in or that you're most attracted to? And I think for the most part, people sort of said art.
Yeah. Art sells games. It's great for Stern
really does.
Since they've got, Stern's got Franchi, Dirty Donny, and Zombie Yeti, so they should be able to sell almost every pinball machine. And I talked to AMD during the week. I'm not to try and get a pinball machine. I was kind of asking on your behalf on one of the first days because you were busy at work, and I hope I can repeat it. I'm pretty sure it was okay to talk about, but he, Michael, who runs AMD with Bruce, kind of said that it's weird. Every time they get a theme, they pretty much sell out of every alley in Australia. It's a different group of people, like there's certain music pinball machines that'll sell, and it's the same customers that keep on buying all these music pinball machines. And then like a Marvel game will come out or something, and there's a bit of an overlap, but it's a whole new different clientele, but there's still a whole bunch of people that will buy every Marvel pinball machine that come out, or every TV show that's popular, like Game of Thrones and Walking Dead. So there's a market for everything, I guess, and there's an overlap. So
yeah. So speaking of that, then, so we've been reporting on this for probably almost like the first episode 6 months ago, and so I put my expression of interest in. I think it was probably over a month ago now, probably a month and a half. So what happens to an Iron Maiden fan that finds out about this the day it's released and wants an LE?
They buy a premium, someone's going to flip it. I guarantee. I mean, every time there's people haven't been able to flip pinball machines in Australia since I guess Ghostbusters or something, or I don't think anyone tried for Batman because there's only 14 that came to Australia, I believe, around 14 LEs. There's going to be some new in box for 20,000 or 15,000 or whatever markup someone's going to want to put on it. But I guarantee that some people that got Iron Maiden will leave it new in box, and a couple of weeks later it'll be up on eBay, and it'll be up to the highest bidder, I guess. Because I think this is going to be a highly desired pinball machine.
Oh, for sure.
Or especially in alley form, because it will have the foil decals, and we haven't even seen it yet. But it's going to be high designed. No,
but and also, so let's talk about the number of units. So 500 units are being produced for the limited edition. How many Star Wars were there?
800.
And there was 700 Star Treks.
799.
Yeah. So why only 500 of these?
Well, it's either one or two things. One, Stern have no idea of the demand, and they kind of choose random numbers based on what they think is going to sell. Two, Iron Maiden then becomes like a sacrificial lamb that they know they can sell more, but they want it to sell out. They want this frenzy back.
This mistake. So,
so the next alley they bring out, if they give it the same treatment, even if it's not a highly desired kind of pinball machine, they can create the same frenzy. And I guess they don't want it to create that, a crazy frenzy to the point where people are flipping them and they feel like they're leaving money on the table. But maybe that kind of shows that they can raise the price up a little bit of the LEs. And to be honest, they probably can if they can get away with selling 800 Star Wars, and yes, the theme is massive and it can't be matched or whatever. But with no shaker motor, no back glass, no, everything they kind of left out, if they can sell that many, then they can raise the price, and they have raised the price by a couple $100, and it got absorbed by some of the US people, but not in Australia. They can probably raise the price of the LE if they keep on going the way they're going.
Yeah. Also, just speaking again on the LE, we did have our two part episodes last week because we just wanted to get out there before it was announced that we knew something.
It was like 5 hours or something.
I know. I think it was actually 3 hours.
Very nice.
But again, some of the things that the LE has is the high definition anti-reflection pinball glass. Got the high powered speaker with 3-channel amplifier, mirrored back glass, art blades, the brushed foil decal battlefield themed cabinet art, powder coated metallic red side armor hinges, and front lockdown molding, a custom Eddie shooter knob.
I hope it's. This is the only thing that I'm sounding a bit pedantic here, but I like normal shooter rods, and if it's custom, it has to be like round. Some people have really weird custom shooter knobs, and they feel wrong when you're plunging, especially if there's a skill shot.
I know. I know.
If the Eddie head is round, it's fine. If the Eddie head is like bony and like you can feel. It doesn't feel like a shooter knob.
Yep. Well, I think if they did the Trooper, if they did it from the Trooper art where he's bald, I think you could get it fairly round.
Yeah, I doubt they're going to be doing some hairy Eddie.
You never know. But it also comes with...
you can replace it for like 10 or $15, whatever a shooter knob costs anyway.
Yeah. And the other thing as well, confirmed, it comes with a shaker motor.
Hooray!
Yay! Well done, Stern. So, all we now need to do is actually see the art. That's all we need now.
And see the gameplay again and analyze it. We need
also see the toys. Because one thing that when I first looked at it, and I'm used to...
doesn't need toys. Come on.
No, wait. When we have these launches, You can tell me when it's been different, but normally we do get to see the art for the LE and the premium at the same time. Like, they've got the same angles of the photos, but just showing all the different art. And I forgot that. So when I saw the art, the first thing I thought was, that Newton ball mechanism that was on Archer isn't there.
Yeah.
So that's is that coming back on the LE?
Which one? I mean, that power orb thing on that power jackpot thing that gets replaced with a Newton ball. Is that what you're talking about, or there's another one somewhere else?
Yeah, I honestly I need to watch the video again. But there was this really cool mech that he had where it was a Newton ball, but there was actually like a ramp that raises up and down behind it.
Yeah.
Is that what's going to go back on it?
This sarcophagus or something.
That's probably
lock.
What it is.
Yeah, and there's going to be like a ball staging thing.
Yeah, that's.
I think on Pro it's a virtual lock, and this is a real lock. Yeah,
so I was really pleased to hear that's what's going to be in the premium and LE.
How angry are you going to be, Marty, if you don't get an LE?
Oh, really angry.
Yeah. Okay.
No. I tell you what, we did talk about this today. If I miss out, so be it, I'll move on. But if I miss out and I find that somebody got one and they were in the line after me, then that's probably a different story. So we'll see how we go.
Are you going to burn the house down, Marty?
Yep, I am.
Okay.
There's going to be napalm just everywhere.
Okay.
We're all going to burn.
Okay.
So
next week, we'll find out.
Stay tuned.
Death by Pinball, Marty.
Yes.
What is it?
So, Death by Pinball is Australia's version of 24 Hours at the Sanctum. So, we spoke, I think in the second episode, we had Jimmy Nails on our show. And he runs a very, very great bar up in Brisbane called Netherworld. And last year, and I think it was last year was the first time, they had Death by Pinball. And it was an 18-hour tournament, match play. And this year they have extended it to 24 hours. And we spoke to Bowen Cairns about it, and he gave us some tips on hydration and how to preserve your energy for 24 hours. But it happened this weekend in Brisbane.
Crazy. Our friend Stu, friend of the show, he flew up for it. Shall we add him into the call?
Absolutely.
Since we haven't had enough guests. Yeah, let's
do it.
Do another one.
Go for it.
All right, dialing now. Hello, Stu. Are you there?
Yes, mate. How you going, Ryan?
Good, buddy. Are you still alive?
I am alive, and in the biblical sense, I went through death and I was reborn again on Easter Sunday.
So talk us through the comp for us. We sort of just gave a bit of an introduction, but it's different to actually have to go through it. Tell us about it.
So my experience is that I mean, as I heard Bowen speaking through the 24-hour competition at the Sanctum that he played in, I went into this competition rather anxious this year because I'd been working 18-hour days for the last month or so, and I was already ruined from the start. So I get to the 24-hour event. It's one of the best events that I find of the year. I'm excited. I get to the start. I show up at the venue, which is at Netherworld, fantastic place. You spoke to Jimmy about it earlier in the year. And I'm excited, I'm anxious, and I really don't know how I'm going to go for the whole 24 hours. 24 hours is a really long time to be stuck in one venue playing pinball just constantly. And one of the things that Bowen said is, when you prepare, you play pinball, you have a nap, you play pinball, you have a nap, and you can always get the adrenaline back when you start playing pinball again. There's no sleeping in these 24-hour competitions. I don't know what Bowen's talking about, but Aussies don't sleep. This is a torture event, not a sleeping event. And you get 50. We have 53 starters this year. Everyone's looking chirpy and excited to get going through the day. And it's literally 4-player match play for 24 hours. And we got through 21 rounds, which equaled about, I think it was 63 games per person.
Wow. Did you hate pinball by the end of it?
I mean, I could have probably kept playing a bit more pinball, but I don't like to catch. There's actually quite a few. Yeah, there was quite a few games there that I would have liked to have sat on for a whole lot more time. Going into the event, I'd said previously on a message to you guys that Dialed In is something I'd never really seen before. I've never played it. I've never watched any videos of it. Total Nuclear Annihilation. I came over to Ryan's place a month or so ago to have a look at it. I had probably 30 seconds on it, and then I spent more time talking to other people and playing other games. So I've gone into a competition not really knowing how to play any of the newer games. So I would have loved to spend more time playing those.
So talk to me about the 24 hours overall. So I think it started at, was it 9 o'clock in the morning on Saturday morning? Yeah, is that right?
9 a.m.
9 a.m.?
9 a.m. Saturday to 9 a.m. Sunday.
And so when did you start feeling that you were getting a little bit tired? At what sort of hour into it did you start thinking, this is a significant undertaking?
Yeah, and that's where my entry into this event was probably a bit different from others. I started feeling rubbish. I got to the venue at 9 o'clock. I felt bad. I actually didn't know whether I wanted to make it through this whole 24 hours or not. I was really excited to play, but like I said, I was anxious and I was worried that I wasn't going to make it through. When we talk about, the no sleeping thing, this is serious business. There's no sleeping at Death by Pinball. There's an area set up at the front of, the venue where there's a stage, and it's called the Stage Pit of Shame. And the Stage Pit of Shame is the place where you do not want to be. It's basically, even if you sleep for a bit, you may as well forfeit if you win, because although I'm pretty sure it's not an official rule, the expectation is that you've made it through the event and you get your survivor badge by being awake the whole time. But going back to how I was feeling, like I said, I felt rubbish at the start. My first round, I had 3 losses. So that was 3 fourth-place finishes in my first round, and that just made me feel worse because I was worried, anxious. Netherworld being the fantastic place that it is, and Jimmy's got a fantastic beer selection, I went straight for the high alcohol beer at 10:30 in the morning.
Sure.
Had a pint of some crazy craft beer, which was really delicious, and from that point on, I hit 9 wins in a row. So, somebody said beer plus pinball equals profit, and I am the living example of how that
very
worked
wise
for me.
man once said that.
That's right. So my statistics pretty much went from round one. At the end of round one, I was in 46th position. At the end of round two, I was in 25th position. At the end of round three, I was in 11th. At the end of round four, I was in 4th. And by round 6, I was in 2nd position. So those 2 pints that I had at 10:30 a.m., they worked their magic, and the anxiety that I had about staying awake just vanished into thin air.
So when did the tiredness first start hitting you, though?
So that was around 2 o'clock, I think. So by 2 a.m., I was back in the hurt locker, and I was really struggling to stay awake. I was struggling to stay focused. I was struggling to even want to stay there. I just had to keep powering on. The issue is I can keep going for I don't know how long. It's never been tested. But as soon as I have to stop, then the engine shut down. I need to go to sleep. And because there were so many gaps between the rounds starting, I had to sit there and just twiddle my thumbs between rounds, and that's when the tiredness starts to kick in. It wants to put you to sleep, and you just got to keep walking. I just started walking around, cutting laps in the venue, just trying to keep my body moving. And it was probably 3 to 4 hours that I was feeling in a bad way. But by 5 a.m. In Brisbane, sun comes up. I walked outside for a bit. Brand new day, brand new me. And I started feeling good again. I'd got over the hurdle, and played pretty well right through to the end. And overall, I finished in 6th position, and I'm really happy with that. So.
I love how your advice is like literally the exact opposite of Bowen's advice. Bowen is like rest between every round, like don't drink alcohol. You're like keep moving, get sloshed.
Well,
I don't know which one to believe.
I don't know if getting sloshed was actually part of the deal, because last year when I competed in this event, I made sure that I didn't get sloshed. I think if you get to the point where you're drunk and tired, you will just fall asleep. But I was just trying to keep a happy medium.
I've always wanted to know whether in the final couple of hours, whether you've still really got your concentration, or are you just sort of just randomly flipping, just hoping that the ball stays alive?
Depends on the game. There was some games that I was playing. Creature from the Black Lagoon, I was really struggling with that, because once you get to the start multi-ball, where it's got those 2 flashing lights on either side, they were so bright, and it felt like it was burning into my retinas. And I literally, in my last game, I did win this game by ignoring the flashing lights on the side, and just having, literally focusing my eyes on the where's your car, move your car area, and just hitting that over and over and over just to grind away.
I would get so angry. I mean, I can last like maybe 5-6 hours of playing pinball before I start getting cranky. I can't imagine like playing Creature from the Black Lagoon, starting multi-ball, and then shooting one of the shots, and it's like, he's not here. I would just scream at the pinball machine. It's like, because it's random. I'll be like, just
show me the woman.
Just show me the chick. Where is she?
I mean, obviously for me, I love playing competition pinball, but I love competition pinball for the social side of it. So I fly to Brisbane for as many pinball competitions as I can, because, number one, I love the weather. And a lot of the people that I know through competition pinball scene are based in Brisbane. And it was really good to catch up with those people. This event was a lot different from last year. Last year had a lot of the national competition players flying in. This year only had myself, Brett and Naomi Goodwin, who you know, and William Gill were the only people that flew into the event. Yesterday was Naomi's birthday, believe it or not, so she celebrated her birthday by staying awake at Death by Pinball. Happy birthday, Naomi. And I didn't even know. Everyone just walked out there as a zombie. Congratulations to Jason Lambert for the win.
Yeah.
He reckoned he could have taken another 6 hours.
You stayed awake, so you flew in the morning. So you woke up in the morning, you flew in, you arrived, you stayed up for 24 hours playing pinball. You didn't then go and check into a hotel. You then went to the airport, flew home, stayed up until 7 p.m. and then went to sleep. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. Well, yes and no. So my original plan was to fly up in the morning, so I didn't have to pay for accommodation. But given the amount of lack of preparation I had with sleeping in the prior days, I ended up flying up on the day before. I did book accommodation, so I was relatively fresh for the morning, which didn't work anyway. But then when the event finished, I literally jumped on the train to the airport, 2-hour flight back home. And once I got home, it was probably 2 p.m. I was like, I can't really go to sleep now. It's just going to ruin the rest of my weekend. So I stayed up till 7 p.m. and then went to sleep. So I was probably awake for about 30-odd hours, maybe longer.
Impressive. Well done, Stu. I don't know if this this whole interview has made me want to play Death by Pinball more or less, but it's an amazing feat that you were able to survive and place 6th. So thanks for coming on the show. We saw the email come in today, but we're like, instead of reading the email, let's just get you on the show to share your experience, and hopefully it'll happen again next year, and they'll get even more people.
You might see one of us there.
Yeah.
Not
definitely.
me, Marty. Not me.
Yeah, it's one of those things you just got to say you've done it, and you can tick it off your bucket list. If it's not on your bucket list, put it on there, tick it off, and then you don't have to go back. But I would always recommend, just do it once.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Doing it twice, it's crazy. Doing it more than that's probably ridiculous. So.
Well, you've done it twice, haven't you? This is the last year you did it. Yeah. So you are crazy.
But if you guys go next year, I'll go again. So I'll hand the torch to you, and you can see me there.
All right, wonderful to do it, Marty.
Awesome. Thanks, Stu. Go get some sleep.
See you, mate. That was Stu Thornton.
That was Stu. You could just tell. Shattered man.
He needs some more sleep. We should have interviewed him next week when he was all like live and perky. He's still struggling. He's still struggling.
I've known Stu. I've known Stu for a very long time, and Stu helped me run the Melbourne Silver Ball League, and he also helps run the Argonauts as well. So, and he is really up and chirpy, and you can just tell he's had 24 hours.
He's a broken man.
He really is.
He's a broken man.
And look, one thing that I'd said a while ago was, that I remember when Jack Danger did a 24-hour stream, he suffered for a week after. He was just in a lot of pain. So, I can imagine Stu is still in a lot of pain at the moment. So, well done, mate.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I mean, it was a good turnout. I said they got on the Match Play website they have 53 people. In the US, I think they do about 100 people at the Sanctum, and it sells out. I think it's another one of those Pinberg things where it sells out really quickly. Who knows if this will get the same kind of treatment, because it was the first year they did it. I only heard about it a month before they started to do it. So, Death by Pinball. It's the Australian version of 24 Hours in the Sanctum. Let's see where it takes us next year.
Yep. So, well done.
Last bit of news we have is Guardians of the Galaxy. New code update by them. All 8 modes are rewritten. Cherry Bomb multi-ball. The changelog is huge. Not going to bother reading through it and detailing much more than I just did then. We got to play it. We got to go back to Anthony's house and give it a go, I think. Yeah,
great idea. Anthony, if you're listening, look forward to the invite.
He messaged me today, and he's like, I'm glad that we finally got to take our high scores off the list, because we were still on there. So
right, okay, cool. Oh well, we'll look forward to that. All right, so shall we go to Slam the Top 100?
Yeah, how did we go last week, Marty? How did we go?
Well, last week was between we had Dialed In and Roadshow. You said if you got 10% of the votes, you would consider that a win?
A win for me personally, like a personal win, not me. Yeah.
Well,
I got way more than that.
35%.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it just proves, Marty, that people really thought you were. I don't think the 25%, 35% of people that think Roadshow is better than Dialed In. I think the fans have spoken, and they were a bit upset that you phoned it in.
Well,
because it is a debate, all right? So 35%. That's rubbish, Marty. That should have been a whitewash, like my Shadow versus Medusa round. That was a proper.
I will quote Dr. John, who wrote, "Go Roadshow. Dialed In is like the spoiled child in the family. Keeps winning everything, so I'll give Ted and the Hot Red a vote." That had nothing to do with you. That was the anti-vote. That was it's won a Twippy, pinball of the year. I'm sick of hearing about it. I'm going to vote for something else. So,
or why don't you read another comment from Greg Colton? Roadshow forever, motherfuckers. Lawless masterpiece. Okay, that's a good argument right there.
Yeah.
Roadshow forever, motherfuckers. Okay.
Well, there's also another one that said Roadshow. It's an extra 3 inches, and who wouldn't like an extra 3 inches? So good to see people are taking this seriously. Well done. Awesome.
Missed that comment. That's hilarious. Okay. All right, let's do it again. Okay, so I will generate the first number for me.
Go for it.
Hey, Google, please generate a number from 0 to 100 for me.
Coming right up. 17.
Ooh. The Walking Dead. Dun, 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 dun. You want to give up now, Marty?
Yeah, pretty much.
Please generate a number between 0 and 100.
22 is total nuclear annihilation. All right. You got yourself a match.
Okay, I have to go first. No. I'm just thinking how to do this without sounding really rude to Scott Denisi. Okay, you ready?
Yes.
Walking Dead. A Lyman absolute masterpiece. The fact that this is number 17 is a travesty because it deserves to be in the top 5 pinball machines of all time. Keith Howard himself modeled his pinball machine around this, but he said that you're never out of the game. At any point in time, you can blow up a mode. Actually, that was Zach Sharpe. Anytime you can blow up a mode, and it's got everything. It's got the fat, ugly dude, the well walker guy, the prison guy, the crossbow. I give you the Walking Dead.
Do you?
Yes.
Okay. You ready?
I wasn't timing it, so give me 1 second to get the timer up for you.
That's all right. We know 30 seconds these days.
Yeah. All right. Ready, set, go.
Okay, you want to talk about masterpieces. This is it, right? Total Nuclear Annihilation is the brainchild of Scott Denisi, and what he has done, he has designed a pinball machine with you and me in mind. And by you and me, I mean every pinball player. The layout is fun, it's fast, it's colourful, the audio is spectacular, it's tough but rewarding, and it is the ultimate party game. I give you Total Nuclear Annihilation.
Time's up. Perfect. You really do know 30 seconds, don't you, Marty?
I do. Okay.
Lyman Sheets versus Scott Denisi. I'm sorry, but to quote Arnold Schwarzenegger, you're a fucking choir boy compared to me. A choir boy! That's what Lyman Sheets would say if someone tried to compare his coding masterpiece to Total Nuclear Annihilation. I'm sorry. It's in a league of its own. There's no ramps on Total Nuclear Annihilation. No ramps, okay? No ramps. I got 5 seconds. What else can I say?
That's it. 5 seconds.
No ramps.
Okay. All right. So my rebuttal on this is, yes, you've got ramps, but they are ramps of death. They are not enjoyable. And in fact, it's the least favourite thing on that machine. What I'm just going to say, I'm really going to talk about the merits of Total Nuclear Annihilation. Great art, great light show. I love the interactivity between that. It just keeps the adrenaline pumping. This game is all about excitement and delivers. 8 seconds. Don't need it.
Are you going to do the Jeff Gill sign out or not?
Yes, fuck off.
Oh my gosh, I'm so nervous that I got a game that I'm so confident in that I pretty much said nothing good about Walking Dead. Oh gosh. All right. I just hope that people will just vote for Walking Dead because it's an amazing game and not actually follow the rules, which I always tell people to do when I'm the underdog.
Honest, they really are both amazing games, just radically different from each other.
The only advantage, I guess, that your machine has is that it's newer and fresher, and it's like, Total Annihilation is the best.
It has no ramps. Come on. That's its appeal.
You know, I'm just giving people. That's just a.
I know. You've just been unfilmed
All right.
by Scott.
Sign Top 100. Have a look on our Facebook page. And we had a lot of votes. We got 68 votes for the last one. Which is
thank you, guys.
A lot compared to like 3, which we got like a couple of weeks before. What is up with that? Where's the consistency, guys?
Yeah, it is.
Okay, so let's try and break the record on this one.
Yeah, indeed. So right, so shall we go to
This Week in Pinball? Brought to you by Jeff from This Week in Pinball. He sponsored us. He slipped me a $50 note.
Really? Or slipped you a roofie? All right, what did we get up to this week, man?
Not crazy, man. I did some sandwich repairs. I'm trying to get it up and running for Rage Tilt at Rises, and it's playing a lot better. I've discovered a lot of little tiny things that I didn't think were broken that were, like the pop bumpers were really sluggish, and I took them all apart and cleaned it and realized it was kind of like a broken bracket, which I fixed. I replaced the flippers. Now they have the proper flippers on them, which I know is stupid that I've had it for 6 months and didn't have the proper flippers. It's a lot more fun when you can hit those loops. Yeah. You can't hit them with those little stupid mini flippers that were on there. It's a cool game. I'm not sure if I kind of pretty much understand the rules now, but it's still a work in progress. But it should be in the competition. There's just one little last issue. They've got a bit of the flippers are kind of like dragging on the playfield now on the bottom left corner. So I've got to get either some parts for that or figure out how to hoist it up, because I don't want to ruin the playfield, because I don't want to spend money on this machine. It's already cost too much. What else did I do? You came over for a little bit and to pick up some stuff that I had from you from overseas, and we had a quick go at the TNA co-op mode. Yes, we both weren't really in the mood for pinball, so we destroyed like 3 reactors or something. But
it's still fun. Yeah, it is really good fun. It's just kind of good that it no longer becomes a competition between the players. It's actually, oh god, this is going to sound so cliche, but it's between you and the machine.
Except for the fact that last digit kind of makes it a competition, right? The last digit that lets you know how many reactors you destroyed versus the other person. So it's kind of still a competition, but it's not. What else? Pindemption. We gave that a quick go, and I hadn't tried it before you came over, and I kind of slipped the dongle in and gave it a go.
What?
It is. I slipped the dongle in. Yep.
Move it on.
I still feel like we should stream it, even though it was probably a bit. It wasn't what I thought. I thought it was going to be like all new animations and stuff, and the screen kind of still looks the same. They've still got the Mario Kart style, divide the screen into 4, and just when you do stuff, it just kind of pops up and says tickets, and I don't have a ticket machine, so it just kind of says 5 or 6 tickets. We kind of didn't get into that as much as we thought we were going to get into it, but I still think if you kind of couple that with like maybe a drinking game or something, I don't know.
Yeah, you could
You can still make fun of it. I don't know.
Well, because I think, we did accumulate tickets, though. We were trying to work out who won more tickets than the other, but it sort of just added them all up together. But, I can see that there's some potential there. I don't know whether it really was fully realised as far as the code goes, but you know what? If you're wanting to put a Wizard of Oz out on site and have it as a ticket redemption game, well, that's what it does. It enables that to happen.
Yeah.
And make some of the objectives to get tickets a little bit simpler. So one thing I noticed is it never really started a multi-ball. So, if you were going to start Rescue Multi-Ball, the animation would show, but it would give you 15 tickets and not start a multi-ball.
Yeah, I found that a little bit weird, I guess. And it's not unlimited balls either. I guess because we're playing 2-player. I wonder if you only played 1 player, if it would just give you I thought it was meant to be like a 3-minute time thing. I think further research needs to be done on this.
Yeah.
Before we can talk about it more.
But certainly a great idea. So
yeah.
We'll play that.
Give it a go. What'd you get up to this week, Money?
Well, most of what I did this week was sit by the phone waiting for a phone call to determine whether I got my Iron Maiden. But that didn't happen. So what I did is I rang up just about everybody that I know that I thought was getting an Iron Maiden just to determine if they were getting them, and some have, some haven't. So, but in order to pay for it, I had to let something go this week, and that was my Jurassic Park. And this is the very first pinball I have ever sold. You probably didn't know that.
You've mentioned it before, it just didn't click, yeah.
Yeah, no, it really has. So I've always thought, oh God, I have to put my phone number out there and everyone's going to lowball me and all that kind of stuff. And what happened was on Wednesday night, it's been stored at Lucas's, so thanks for coming on the show this week, Lucas. And he'd kept it in great condition. We did a strip down of it, a few, months ago when we did that strip club. And so it was just in fantastic condition. I went and took pictures on Wednesday night. On Thursday night, another friend of the show, Andy, tagged me in one of the pinball buy-sell groups. And that Thursday night, I sold it. Spoke to somebody from Wodonga who's a massive Jurassic Park fan, loves the movies. So I was really pleased. And so I'd taken all these photos, sent off all the photos, talked a lot about pinball, talked about the podcast. Sure, why not? I just wanted to let him know that, I'm not some dodgy person that he's buying it from. So I got the money straight away. And then Sunday, it got delivered. So, we talked previously about Prowler, that used to be the person that does the East Coast delivery. Well, there's a new service which is, I think it's needcourier.com.au. And I just sort of read on this the same buy-sell group that this person had said that on the Easter weekend there was going to be a delivery coming out of Melbourne up to Sydney. And so this guy managed to get in contact, and so the machine was bought Thursday night, was delivered 10 o'clock Sunday in Wodonga, which is about a 3.5 hour drive from Melbourne. So it was just, and also the guy I spoke to was just a really, really nice guy. And I was just really excited for him because he was excited about not just having a pinball machine, but having a Jurassic Park pinball machine. So I like that. What else? Oh, I went to a tournament. I went to a comp. My first comp probably since November last year. Well, besides the Australian Championship Series, but my first Melbourne comp since November last year. I went to Bayside, again, Lucas's comp.
Yeah.
And admittedly, I hadn't had much sleep, Ryan.
Why is that, Marty?
Because we were up all night recording. Podcast.
Yeah, we started that Zach Sharpe interview at 1 a.m.
and then finished editing at 10 to 4. I think we uploaded the episode 10 to 4 in the morning. So I don't had a couple of hours.
We could have done it earlier, but
you were asleep. That's right. Well done. Thank you.
At 8:30 at night.
So I didn't do that well. I got into the semi-finals, bombed out, and came 6th. And by 2 hours into it, I mean, I certainly wouldn't have been able to do the Death by Pinball. I was really tired. I was really feeling it. So I wasn't playing my best, but it was really good to see everybody again and really good to play another comp. So I was very pleased about that.
Are you going to Pixel Alley tomorrow?
I hope so. It'll be good.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't think I can go. I got date night, but I might see that.
Yeah, fair enough. And look, the last thing I'm going to talk about, and with the risk of now being a certified shill, I've now got my new Pin Stadium kit on my Star Trek Limited Edition.
Is it amazing, Marty? Is it blowing you away?
I know, it really is. And it's the best. It's for me, it's the best this machine has looked. And the thing I was always saying before was, Sterns don't really need Pin Stadiums. And I will say, right, to everybody, Sterns don't need a Pin Stadium. There you go. I've said it. They don't. They're actually quite well lit. But what this does, it just makes it incredibly lit and pop out, and the art looks great. And I got the UV glow on this as well, so I've hooked that up to the Vengeance ship, so every time that flashes or pulses or goes off, the UV glow does. And I just think it absolutely suits this machine. So there you go. That's all I'm going to say about it.
Cool. Did you know that we're recording so late that the This Week in Pinball post is actually up during our podcast?
Well, it's also daylight savings has ended, so we've lost.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah. So there you go. So did we miss anything?
Well, he doesn't actually know who he wrote the who's who of who's designing Iron Maiden, and he wrote design Keith Elwin, rules Keith Elwin, but the rules are actually being implemented by a Rick Nagel, or is it Nagel? And he's a listener of the show. Did you know that, Marty?
Yes, I did know that.
Yes, yeah, because I told you. Because I told you midweek.
Because you told me.
Yep. Yes. So a bit of a correction there, Jeff, if you're listening. Did he miss anything? Did we miss anything? Not really. He's just going through the stuff on Iron Maiden.
Love the new redesign of the website. Looks great.
He's talking about the interview with Keith Elwin on Coast to Coast. See, Zach Sharpe, you didn't mention enough exclusive information. This Week in Pinball didn't even mention our exclusive interview with Zach Sharpe. That's disappointing. What else? Deadpool leaked image. So he's how much is it showing? Not too much. Just a bit of the artwork and Mr. Sinister. That's disappointing to me that this image is getting out. It's just like, by the time it comes around, it doesn't need to be shown now. I mean, Iron Maiden just got released. We don't need to know about the next game. Anyway, Measle Mods Mod of the Week. This is what Ron and Bruce do. Spooky updates. We talked about them.
We covered it all.
We covered it. We got it. We don't need Jeff.
Yeah.
Screw you, Jeff. This Week in Pinball.
No, we don't screw you. That was awesome.
No, we love Jeff.
We do.
Okay.
So there we go. All right.
Is that our show? Oh, wait. Mail.
Oh, we do have the mail, don't we?
We've skipped the mail like just how many times in a row? Too many times. Okay, we can skip the mail from Stu because that doesn't need to be in there because we interviewed him. What else? There was one from a couple of weeks ago I want to mention quickly. David Newman, who I met, I believe, at TPF, and he was just kind of talking about possibly meeting me at the Pinball for Change in Toronto, but I missed him. So hello to David Newman. We got Mitchie telling us that Josh Sharpe didn't win a major. We have that.
Did you see they put up their April Fool today where they said that the finals are going to become a major? That was very funny.
We should get that Josh Sharpe on the show. Oh, wait a second, we did.
We did.
Can't read that email. That's confidential. You got one here, May?
I do. So this is from Tom. He says, first time listener, Iron Maiden fan pulled in by new game. Fantastic interview. I have a 70 space mission table that I bought in the 80s for $100 with money from my 10-year birthday at a yard sale, and I've loved it for 3 decades. Very excited to get a modern table with a theme of my favourite band and a playfield that looks so well designed. One thing that makes me sad is my inability to get limited edition. Wish they would have been limited to 666 instead of 500 for a theme. And a lot of people have talked about that as well, but I don't know whether a company putting out 666 is probably the best thing to do, but I understand why you'd want it. But the premium sounds like, play-wise, it would be fantastic. Now time to use internet to start learning how to play with skill instead of how I played as a kid growing up. And Tom, we do talk about that. So best thing you can do, right, you're going to have, even if you've got a premium, it's going to be an awesome machine. Watch all the videos, watch a lot of Bowen clips, watch Dead Flip, watch all the streamers as well, and you've got a machine at home to practice all that skill on, so you'll have a lot of fun.
The next email is from Robert Byers, and he's the guy who won the Texas competition, the Wizards or whatever it was called, and did the Triple H or whatever it's called. Whatever he's covering it up to be. You guys are up. So after binge listening to Slam Tilt and then followed that up with Pinball Profile, just finished episode 117. You guys were next on the list. Halfway through episode 1, and I know I'm going to like the show. You poor bastards. Dream theme.
You're going to like it a lot better when you listen to later episodes.
Once you get to about 10 or something. I don't know when we start to get... I mean, we still have a lot to improve, I think, but... just listening to the old episodes are quite painful. My dream theme is Harry Potter as well, and it could be such an awesome game, playing through the 8 years at Hogwarts and having the wizard mode be the final battle against... I don't want to read this. This is spoiler alert. I'm still going through the books.
Well, don't read it out.
No. But anyway, it was nice to meet Ryan at TPF. Yeah. back to the podcast. Man, that's a lot of content. So that's 35 episodes, about average 2 hours each. So 7 days. It's about 3 days of constant listening. I wonder if he listens at a higher speed. Once you get to this episode, Rob, you're a fair way away from it. Let us know if you're listening at 1.5 times or if you listen to us at 1.0. I pity you if you are.
Like the cool people.
Like the cool people. I don't even listen to us at 1.0. Anyway, are we done?
We are done. So thank you everybody for listening. If you want to contact us, please go to our Facebook page. Look up Head2Head Pinball, or if you can go facebook.com/Head2Head Pinball. Twitter is at H2H Pinball. Email us at head2headpinball@gmail.com, or Instagram is Head2Head Pinball.
Sing us out with an Iron Maiden song, Marty.
No. Run to the hills.
Oh my gosh. That's the wrong pitch.
For your life.
I'm going to sing Wasted Years for Lucas. No. Well, I was in between all our interviews, I was singing all the songs anyway, so you can just clip that.
All right, I will do.
All right.
All right, thanks everyone.
See ya.
Bye.